Hello, today I'm going to provide you with a quick tutorial on how to use PowerPoint to automate the test read aloud process. You'll use PowerPoint to create a system for students to just listen to their test read alouds while they take the test, and that way they can control their own pace, so that way they're not at the mercy of whatever pace the class is going with it, the other students being read to are doing. Also, it'll provide some test security and hopefully a way that a student can listen to questions multiple times and allow you a quick and easy way to record your tests and keep track of your tests, and also a quick way for you to edit your recorded tests. There are many benefits to doing it this way. I'm going to try to highlight them as we come across them throughout this tutorial, but ultimately it's going to be a quick and easy way for you to record tests, and then you have students take them, and then you can edit them as you see fit. We're going to start at the Harlem homepage right here, and you'll go to my page, which is under Departments, Administrative Team, and then you're going to click on my name over here on the right. Please do your best to ignore my mug shot there and click on Curriculum Items. Under Curriculum Items there are two folders. There will probably be more over time, but you're going to click on Teaching Tools right here. And the first one is the Read Aloud Accommodation template. That's the file that you're going to use to create your test read aloud. So click on it and you'll see that Chrome here has downloaded a PowerPoint file for me. You can access it here on the bottom. I'm going to click on that, and that's going to open this file for me. Okay, this is Read Aloud Assessment Template PowerPoint file. First thing you want to do is click Enable Editing up here at the top. You want to be able to edit this file. And I want you to be able to see everything, so I'm going to click Fit to Window. So you can see I created a generic PowerPoint file here for testing purposes. You can customize this to look however you want. The first thing you'll do is go to View, and you can see there's a generic header kind of here. If you click on Slide Master, you can change the course name. If you click on the second slide right here, click on course name, and I'm going to change it. You can change it to whatever course you want. I'm going to change this to United States History, just because that's what I taught, so I'm most familiar with it. And then for assessment title, we'll call this Final Examination Fall 2014. Okay, so that's that will be the name of our assessment right here. And if you want to copy that, then paste it on your title slide, that just makes it a little cleaner. Oops. I'll delete the one that's there and just paste that one. This will create the same look for all of your slides. Okay, so if we go back to View and click on Normal, you'll see that for every slide now in the corner right up here, it's going to say Harlem High School United States History. That's the course. Final exam Fall 2014. So that's on all of our slides. So that way, if you have students in a classroom that are taking multiple exams, you can glance over their shoulder and make sure that they're on the correct exam. Okay, and then on your title page, you can do the same thing. United States History, Final Exam 2014. Okay. Alright. You don't have to do that. That's just kind of a nice way to organize it that way. Once we get all of the final exams saved in a place where we can access them for students, we'll know what's what. Okay? Now, we've made some changes. It's always important to save every time you make a change. This part is very, very important for test security. So pay very close attention to how to save, because how you save here could save you some headaches down the road if you're worried about test security. Okay, so you're going to click on File and click on Save As. You want to do a Save As because you don't want to save it as a template, because it's no longer a template because we've begun to customize it for our needs. So up here you're going to click Save As, and when this window comes up, you're going to do Tools, Okay, click on Tools. There's a little drop down right there, and click on General Options. Okay, General Options. And a dialog box comes up that asks you for a couple different passwords. Okay, there's a password to open. That's going to be the password that gets you to access this PowerPoint file. There's also a password to modify. You're going to want to make these two different passwords. Okay, the reason is you can give your students the password to open it if you want. That will allow them to access the file. The password to modify would allow them to change it. Okay, the key part there is the password to modify also includes saving. So if a student brought with him or her a thumb drive and they wanted to save this so they could listen to the test somewhere else or give it to somebody else that hasn't taken the test, they would not be able to do that without that password. Okay, so for the purposes of this demonstration, we're going to click password to open, what we'll say is Harlem. You're going to want to do a better password than that, obviously. Password to modify, we're going to make Huskies. Okay, so what that means is that for me to open it, all I need to do is put Harlem. For me to edit it, I would need an additional password, which is going to be Huskies. Now, there's no way to retrieve this password, so I would suggest that you keep it in a safe place or do some sort of formula that you can easily remember. For example, maybe you could call it, U.S. History Final, and then your birth date or your address or some 4-digit code maybe that would be very difficult for students to know or crack. Something like that. It's really up to you. But with two separate passwords, you've really added 2 layers of security if you're the one entering in that password for the student to open it. Okay, so anyway, we click OK. Now it says re-enter password to open, so make sure we didn't type it incorrectly and forever lose the ability to open it. It's Harlem. Password to modify is Huskies for purposes of this demonstration. So we click OK. Now we can save whatever we want. Okay, I'm going to save this as test example. You would obviously probably call it U.S. History Final Read Aloud, but I'm going to call it test example and then save. Okay, now I'm going to close out of this for now. This was something I was working on earlier. Okay, I'm going to open it back up. So I click open. I actually saved it in downloads, which is not a good place to save anything, but that's okay for purposes of this. You'll save it most likely in a folder for final exams or wherever you save tests, but I'm opening up test example. Okay, you'll see that immediately a dialog box opens up asking me for the password to open the file test example. Okay, that password was Harlem, so I type in Harlem. Okay, and it says test examples is reserved by Windows user. Please enter password to modify. Okay, so I would enter here at Huskies if I wanted to edit the test, which we're going to do in a second. But let's say you're a student. If your student's accessing this, they're going to click read only. So they click read only, and you'll see that the test has come up. Just to show you that the security measure worked, if I said, okay, I'm going to throw my thumb drive in there and I'm going to save this on my thumb drive so that I now have a copy of your test, you'll notice that I cannot save it. Okay, so this is save or save as is disabled because I did not enter in that password to modify. So this is a secure test. They could save it as a PDF, but that's not going to do them any good because the only things they have on here are the numbers. They don't actually, because the audio is the key piece of the test that they would be trying to compromise. Okay, so we can't do anything to this right now because we're not logged in to modify, so I'm going to close out of it here, and then I'm going to reopen it one more time. It's under downloads. It's going to ask me for my password again. I'm going to type in Harlem to open it, Huskies to edit it, and I'm going to click OK. And now my file is open and I can edit it however I want because I had those 2 passwords. Okay, so that's the security part where you're now creating a PowerPoint file that you can really share with anybody, and they would need 2 passwords to change anything, 2 passwords to save anything. It's a fairly secure document. Okay, we've updated this so that it shows our course and our class. Now I'm going to show you how to insert the directions. Okay, the first slide I threw in there is called Please Listen to Directions. So you would put any directions that you have on this slide. Those are also read aloud for students with read aloud accommodation. So this is how you're going to insert a sound or an audio clip into your presentation pretty smoothly. Okay, go to Insert, do the drop down for audio, and click Record Audio. Okay, this brings up a sound box. You're going to click Record and then read your directions. Okay, so I'm going to click Record. Please read each question and answer with the best choice available. Okay, I just made up those directions. You probably have much better ones that you use, but this is what this is how you record it. You can click play. Please read each question, and okay, if you want to listen, hear it back, it'll play back for you. If you are satisfied with it, and everyone hates the sound of their own voice, especially me, so you're just going to have to get past that. I'm still working through it myself. But anyway, you'll click OK, and that will insert a sound for you right there on your slide. So if I'm a student taking this test, I would start the test with United States History Fall Final Exam. When I hit down, there's a little sound thing for me, and I can hit play. Please read each question and answer with the, and it will read the question for me. Okay, so that's inserted the sound very nicely into the slide for me. Okay, so the students can listen to the directions by just quickly showing them, push play, listen to the directions, follow along with your sheet. Okay, after the directions, we have numbers 1, and it goes on all the way through 100. Okay, so let's say that for the purposes of this test, this final exam is 100 questions. They don't have to change anything. If it were 20 questions, you can just delete slides 21 through 100. Okay, so this keeps going on. You'll see over here on the left. I've put in for 100 questions. I would just delete any that you're not going to use. Okay, so to delete a large number, let's say we have a 40 question test. If you want to delete a large number at once, select the slide that has number 41, go all the way down to slide 100, hit shift before clicking, I'm holding shift, and then I click that. Now that's selected every single slide between those two mouse clicks, and then I'm going to push delete. You'll notice that now it only goes up through 40. So I can put a 40 question test on there now without all that extra stuff on the end, and then just make sure I continue to save in the manner that I showed you earlier. So now we do question number 1, and the same way that you added the directions, you add your read aloud for number 1. So we go to Insert, Audio, Record Audio, and then hit Record. Who is the best president in the history of ever? Okay, that's our question number 1. I listened to it. Who is the best president in the history of ever? Okay, so everybody knows that all the students in your class are going to know that the answer to that question is Abraham Lincoln, and they're all going to get it right, which is awesome. Okay, you can move this around if you want to get it out of the way of number 1, or you can move the number 1, whichever you want to do. But let's say that this is our question. We're all good with that. So the experience of the student is going to be they start their PowerPoint slide like this. United States History Fall Final Exam. They're going to listen to the directions, okay, by hovering over the little speaker guy, hitting play. They go to question number 1. They hover over the speaker guy, push play. Who is the best president in the history of ever? So they can listen to that. Now let's say they're on number 25 and they want to go back to number 1. They can hover over it and play it again, or if they listen to number 1 and they are unsure of a difficult vocabulary word, they can sit here and listen to this question over and over and over again if they so choose. It's completely up to them. So that is one of the nice benefits of this system, is if a student wants a question repeated, they don't have to raise their hand and ask their reader to repeat it. They can just do it on their own. Also, if they want to listen to some questions in a different order, go back to questions, they can do that as they see fit. Another benefit is you're reading one question at a time. Okay, so let's say you record your 40 question test and you finish it and you administer it and you see that all of your students missed number 1. Okay, they all said George Washington. The answer is Abraham Lincoln. So you go back, you do some reteaching, you realize that that's just not that great of a question, or you want to reword it. Simply go back to question number 1, click here, delete your sound. That sound is gone, and you can go and record audio and insert another question. So this way, if you update your final exam, you don't have to re-record the entire final. You only have to re-record the questions that you changed. Okay, so that's a very nice feature also. This helps with test editing. Another thing that you could do, let's say questions 1 through 10 are a multiple choice, but questions 11 through 20 are something different. You can go to slide 2, copy slide 2. You can do Control-C if you want. Then put your cursor between slides 10 and 11, right-click, and click Paste, and you'll see that it pasted the direction slide right in there. Okay, so here then we delete those directions, and then we can insert some new directions into that slide. Another useful way to use this, okay, is let's say that after question 10 there's a reading selection. Okay, the students have to read a passage and then answer some questions about it. You can just simply put the, click in between those two slides, click New Slide. You'll notice that all of our headings, our little husky dog, showed up. And then you can delete that part. And then you can just type in here, please read the following selection. Or something, however you want to word it so you feel like your students will understand. Put that nice big writing, and then you can do the same thing. Insert, go to audio, record audio, read the selection in a slow, straightforward way so that the students can follow along. And then once you're done, hit stop, and then go to the next questions and ask the questions. This is also nice because the student can listen to question 11, go back and listen to the selection again if they want, and they don't have to. That could be a useful way for students to read through sections twice. Also, as they're reading, they can click on it to stop the audio and start it over again if they would like. So that could be a useful tool as well. Other things that make this fairly useful is that you can do as many questions as you want. You can stop after a few, add some instructions in, and you can have an idea of where a student is on their test by just kind of glancing over their shoulder. Okay, you can see that they're on number 25 without actually going up to their test. So this should provide an easy, fairly usable way for you to record tests and save them in a way that's secure. Okay, when you're finished, you want to continue to make sure that you're saving your file, and those passwords will stick with it, and then save it in a way that or save it under a file name that you'll be able to find it. I threw a slide in at the very end that says you have finished the test. You may go back and review any answer or turn it in to your teacher. You can change that to whatever you want. This should be fairly customizable, but I just threw in a background and some graphics that I thought would work for everybody. So any questions you have at all, just ask me. I'd like to work to a point where we have many tests recorded and saved so students can take them whenever they need to. Thanks for listening. I'd encourage you to watch this a few times if you're having trouble with it, and ask me if you have any questions. Thank you.